Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we're going to be going over how to create an AI report generator. So basically, you're going to create an AI program that you can basically give it any report that you want to generate. It's going to generate for you this report and then convert the final report into a PDF file that you can have access to. So let me just go ahead and give you a simple demo. I think the demo explains it better than anything else. So let me just go ahead and show you a simple demo. So let me just run the program. It's going to ask me for basically what I want to do research about. So let me just say I want to research about, let's say, SpaceX. So let's say the benefits of SpaceX. So let's say write me a report on the benefits of SpaceX. Okay, so that's basically what I want to generate a report about. I'm just reporting about SpaceX. So you can see now it's generating a report. It says, please wait, AI is thinking, please wait. So it's going to go ahead and run the code, make all the prompts, make all the requests, backend AIs, AI applications, and if it basically generate a final report. So you can see we have the report generated, and the report is generated at basics forward slash. I have this file. So let me just show you what this file basically is. So this is the file. This is the part that file. So if I open it, let's see what it generated at the end of the day. So let me just have that open. You can see right here, AI generated report. And this is, I just kept this to just let people know that this is not actually a human generated report, but an AI generated report. So you can see the benefits of SpaceX, a revolutionary force in space exploration, and it wrote us a whole report on SpaceX, right? And it converted this report into a PDF document. So basically, imagine that you have a report to write and you don't have the time to write the report, right? I'm not saying you should use AI, but you could use AI to do it and generate a report just like this. And you can see it's well formatted and looks absolutely clean. So you can just go ahead and submit the AI generated report instead of you generating your own report as well. Or if you're a student, you might think, okay, I'm not going to use this for my assignment. Again, this video is not for you to use this program for your assignment. It's for your class assignments. It's kind of, I don't think that's legal anyway, but I don't know. It depends on your school, right? So the whole point is just for educational purposes, not for you to be able to cheat around doing your assignments with AI, right? And then getting the PDF and then submitting the PDF. Okay, again, the choice is yours. Whatever you want to do with this knowledge depends on you, but again, use this for good. So once this is done, I'm just going to go ahead and close this, and let me show you what you're going, and you can go ahead and see the timeline of everything you're going to do in this video. That's how you can begin coding. So the first thing you're going to go ahead and do is you're going to go ahead and install the libraries and dependencies you're going to be using. Okay, so you're going to be using Mistral AI for the for the LLM backend. You can also use OpenAI, and if you want to, or Llama if you want to, Llama 2 if you want to, but I'm going to be using Mistral. Okay, and I'm also going to be then you're going to look at how to generate a HTML document and convert this HTML document into a PDF document using things like Jinja2. I hope you have, if you ever work with Python, things like Flask, Django. I think also Django uses Jinja2 in the background, so we probably can cause Jinja2. Again, you don't have to know Jinja2. It's just very basic. Okay? I'm just letting you know what's under the hood. And then finally, we're going to go over how to convert the generated HTML document into a final PDF document. And then we'll go over how to set up Mistral and then get the user prompt and pass it to the Mistral. And then Mistral is going to generate a response that we're going to insert into our HTML template and then generate the HTML basing on that. And then finally convert all that HTML into a final PDF document. That's as I've shown you earlier. So then number 5, you're going to look at combining everything together to create a final project, which is what you're going to be doing. So Mistral setup will get like Mistral API key, and you're going to look over the MOE, basically the mixture of experts. So if you're not mixture of expert is, I'll explain briefly when we reach that point, but I'm really not going to go into depth. So mixture of experts, or MOE, is just having different AI models, each being an expert at one particular thing, and all of them working together to generate a response for a given prompt. That's basically what MOE is, a mixture of experts. And if we now look at the conclusion, we will conclude just a simple conclusion, and then that'll be the end of the tutorial. So let's get started. The first we need to do is actually we need to go ahead and set up everything and install all the dependencies and libraries that you're going to be using. So to do that, I have this slide right here that shows you everything that you need to do. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and install all the libraries. So let's get started with this. So I'm going to go into my terminal right here. I'm going to close this, change directory back into, I have a folder called tutorials where I keep all my tutorial files. So I'm going to go in there. So once I'm in there, I'm going to go ahead and run the following command to be able to create a simple basically poetry project. So I'm going to say poetry new and then give the name of the project folder. Then inside of that project folder, I'm going to have another subfolder. We're going to call it basics. Okay, so I'm going to go back in. I'm going to say poetry new, and I'm going to call it AI underscore generated underscore reports. And I'm going to have another folder in there. I'm going to call it basics. So basics, just like this. And I'm going to press enter, and that's going to go ahead and generate for me the file, the folder. So I'm going to change into the folder called AI generated reports. And in there, I also see another folder called basic, which is this folder right here. Right, good, which is what is specified right here. So I hope you are new, you have used poetry before. If you haven't used poetry before, feel free to use a normal Python virtual environment. If you want to use, that's fine. I think the command to that is Python 3 hyphen Python 3 hyphen m vnv and then vnv, basically to create a Python vnv environment. Okay. So once I have that done, good, I'm going to change. I'm already in that directory. So once I'm in that directory, you can go ahead and install all the dependencies. So I'm going to install Mistral. I'm going to install PDF kit and also Jinja2. So let me just go ahead and install that. So I'm going to say poetry add, and I'm going to say Mistral AI. I'm going to install PDF kit, Jinja2, and Jinja2. Let me get that right. So Jinja2. I'm also going to install Python decouple that you're going to use to read environment variables. So I'm going to go ahead and install Python hyphen decouple. Okay. Okay, that's all I need. So once I have all that done, I'm going to press enter, and this is going to go ahead and install all this for me inside of my uh, my poetry virtual environment. And you can see I have this folder called env, and this folder this is a hidden folder, this folder right here. And in your case, you might not have this folder. So this folder, what basically does, it helps things like text editors such as like VS Code to be able to know which environment that you are using, so that it does not highlight like unknown libraries, right? Basically, it knows which interpreter that you are using, and on that interpreter we have all the installed dependencies. So that's how you need that file. And to create that file, basically which command, the command you need to run is this command right here, poetry config and then virtual envs dot project true, right? So this is a command that you need to run. Again, I have already run this command already, so I'm not going to run it again because it's not going to do anything, because I've already changed my global poetry settings by running this command already. So if I run it again, it's just repeating the same thing. So in your case, you need to run the last command right here, which is poetry config virtual envs uh, dot in hyphen projects and then finally true. Okay, and that will be able to create for you this env folder every time you create a new poetry project. Okay, good. So once we have that, I'm going to open up my favorite text editor. I'm going to use VS Code. Feel free to use anything that you're comfortable using. Okay, so I'm just gonna use VS Code, and I would highly suggest you to use VS Code as well. So it's just I just prefer VS Code. Okay, let me not advertise anything. Okay, once I have that, now I'm going to go ahead into my basic folder. And instead of my basic folder, I'm going to go ahead and have a couple of things. So I'm going to go ahead and create a file. I'm going to call this one underscore underscore main underscore underscore dot py. Okay, that's be my py file. Okay, so let me just go ahead and let that run and that create that file for me. Okay, so okay, PC is in performance mode, but somehow it's a bit sluggish, maybe because I'm recording. Okay, so once I have that file, underscore main underscore .py file, I'm also going to create another I'm going to create another folder, two more folders. The first one is going to be called, I'm going to call it utils. Okay, let me get that right. So utils. Okay, instead of utils folder, I'm going to go ahead and create an init file. So underscore init underscore dot py. Okay, so it's underscore init underscore dot py. Okay, so that's very, very important, and that's a special file in Python. If you ever worked with Python before, like I'm assuming that you're not new to Python, right? Okay, so once I have that utils file in there, I'm also going to go ahead and create another folder, and this folder I'm going to call it templates. So I'm going to call this folder templates. This we are going to keep our HTML template, so don't worry about this for now. We'll come back to all this just in a second. And under my utils, also let me create one more last folder, and this folder is going to be called generated underscore PDF underscore files. So this is the folder in which you're going to store all the generated PDF files. That's basically it. And this template is going to consist of all our HTML files. And this utils is going to consist of a bunch of utils that you're going to use. So that's basically it. So instead of the utils folder, instead of the utils, make sure that you have underscore init underscore py file. And once you have that file, I'm going to go ahead and create another file in there. And that file is going to be called HTML to PDF. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and create that. So I'm going to call it, this is going to be HTML. So HTML underscore to underscore PDF dot py file. Good. So once I have this file in there, this file, instead of this file, we're going to have a function, and we're going to use this function just in a second. So let me just go ahead and add in that function right there. So instead of this file, I'm going to go ahead and do the following. So I'm going to say import Jinja2. Okay, Jinja2. Good. So I'm also going to go ahead and import PDF kit right there. Okay, and the reason why we're getting this auto suggestions and auto complete because we have this .env file. So that's why you should run this last command to have the PDF file, the .env file folder created. Okay, okay, good. So once we're in there, but there we have done with installation. So we're in the section of basically creating the HTML templates that will be later used to generate the PDF files. Okay, so once I have that in there, I'm going to go ahead and have an asynchronous function, and it's gonna be I can call it convert basically HTML to underscore PDF. So this asynchronous function basically converts a HTML document into a PDF document. Okay, so instead of this function, I'm going to go ahead and take in a couple of things. So let me just go ahead and specify. I'm going to specify them right here. So HTML, I'm going to call it HTML string, which is basically the string that you are trying to convert into a test string. But for now, let's leave this for now. We'll come back to it just in a second. What I want to do for now is I'm going to have the template underscore folder, and this is going to be of type string, and you're going to have a default value. Okay, and there's so mean that passing in this value will be optional. So I'm going to say dot basic basics, just like that. So because we call this folder basics, whatever you call this folder, is what you pass in here. Okay, so basics / and then I'm going to say templates, and templates is this folder. Okay, so it's specifying the part of the templates folder. Okay, so once we have that, then I'm gonna keep a comma, and then I can copy this and paste it right here. So another parameter you're going to have is gonna be the base underscore HTML underscore file. Basically the file, the base HTML file, and this is going to be basic. This like this base. I'm going to call it base.html. And what is this base.html file? And this base.html file is a file that's going to be inside of our templates folder. So let me go ahead and add in a file right here. So I'm going to go ahead and say base.html, just like that. Okay, and you can go ahead and add in some HTML code content in here. And we'll come back to this just in a second. But for now, let's go back to this function, and let's complete the other things that we need. So we're also going to have another input right here. I'm going to call it input file, and it's going to be of type string str, and it's going to be optional again. You will say generated underscore pdf pdf dot pdf. Okay, good. So once we have that parameter passed in, now also going to specify another parameter, and it's going to be output let's say output underscore folder. Okay, and this is going to be the output folder, and it's going to be of type string again. You're going to give it a default value, and the output folder is going to be dot / basics / I'm going to call it generated underscore pdf underscore file. And if you notice, this is the same folder that we have right here, generated underscore pdf. You can see right here, generated underscore pdf underscore files. So that's basically the folder that's specifying right there. Okay, good. So once we have all that done, we are good to go. So I'm just going to specify the return type of this function, and the return type of this function is going to be returning to us a string, basically. Okay, so basically a string of HTML content, right? So that's basically what we want to do. So once we have that there, we are good to go. So I can go ahead and check a couple of things just to put in some sanity checks. I'm going to just say if output folder dot ends with, if it ends with dash, I don't want anything ending with a / because some people might specify dot basics. Maybe they want to use another folder, so they say dot basics / and folder and then / again. I don't want that because that will cause us a code, and I'll show you it will cause us an error, and I'll show you why that will raise an error. So I'm going to just say I'm going to raise a value error right here, and you can just say wrong output folder name should not contain, and you can just say should not contain / basically /. Okay, so once we have that there, in case that's not the issue, we're going to have an else block, and this else block we're going to say pdf underscore file underscore name is going to be equals to we're going to use an f string right here. You're going to go ahead and say output output folder / output file, just like that. So I say the folder and then / the file name. So that's basically, so in this case, it will be, for example, let's say I specify the file name as let's say random file.pdf. So it will be dot basics forward slash generated PDF files forward slash random file.pdf. Okay, something of that sort. So once we have that generated, I'm going to go ahead in here and have a try and except block. So I'm going to say pass, and then I'm going to have an except block, except exception as e, and I'm just gonna print e. So it's good thing that you handle this exception better. Okay, instead of just returning, instead of just printing out that thing, you can just let me just add it a comment right here, say to do, and to do be to improve this error handling, improve error handling. So you can improve that later on, but I'm not going to go over that in this tutorial. You can just search there are different ways of handling errors in Python and find one of the ways that you prefer and use that. Okay. So once we have that, now I'm going to go ahead and specify the function. So I'm going to say template underscore a loader. So I'm going to have a template loader that's going to load in the template that you want. And you're going to say Jinja2 dot file system. Let me see if I can get file system. No, not like this. File system. Let me see if we get another option. Is file system a loader, just like this. Okay, so file system loader, and you need to pass in the folder that you want, or the template, the part of that template, which is going to be the template folder that we have right there, which is this parameter that's going to be passed in the template folder. And that's the path to the folder that has all the HTML templates that you want to work with Jinja2. Okay, and you're going to say template underscore env. So it's a template environment is going to be equals to Jinja2 dot environment right there. You're going to specify a loader to this environment, and the loader is going to be equals to our template loader that we have above there. So template loader there. So good. So that's all I'm going to do. So let me just, so good. So once we have that, let me just close my side panel so this code can be, you guys can see everything clearly. Okay. So once I have that done, we are good to go. So we have the environment, the template environment there. Okay. And you pass in the template loader as a loader to that environment. So once we have that, I'm going to create a basic. I'm going to go ahead and grab the basic template that you want to. So basic underscore template, and basic template is going to be equals to the following. So basic template is going to be template environment dot get underscore template, just like that. So template environment dot get template. You're going to go ahead and pass in the base underscore HTML file right there, and the base HTML file is what you an input that you are taking. So basically loading in this base.html file, which is this file that you're going to come to just in a second. Okay, good. So once we have that there, we are good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and have another variable, right? You're going to call it output underscore template HTML code. So output HTML code is going to be called, it's going to be basic template dot, say render, just like we have in Jinja2, right? If you ever work with something like Flask, you have this dot render method when you're working with Flask. So dot render, and then you go ahead and pass in this right here. Okay, good. So once we have that specified in there, we can go ahead and now print out the HTML code that this render method is going to generate. So we can say print, we're going to say output HTML, basically output HTML code. So I'm going to just see the code that this render method is going to generate. So that's basically it, what I want to do. So yeah, and again, you can have a bunch of options for this. I'll show you this in a second. So let me just go here and say PDF. Now let's convert this generated HTML code into now a PDF file. So I'm going to say dot from underscore string. Okay, this is a PDF kit library, and you can see this library online. It has a very good documentation. You can read more about it. Okay, so I'm going to say input. The input is going to be equals to the output HTML code, right? Which is this right here. So I'm going to copy that and paste it right here. Okay, sorry, let me just go ahead and clear that. I copied the whole line instead of just that's okay. So we have the output right here, and then down here, what I'm going to add to this output is I'm going to add the following. So I'm going to say output underscore path, and the output part of this is going to be equals to the PDF underscore file underscore name, just like that, which is what we generated up here. So basically what you're telling is that once you convert this HTML into a PDF document, you want to go ahead and store this PDF document in here, which is basically maybe which is this one, basic generated folders, then generated PDF files, and then finally the file name itself. So it can be like generated PDF files / generated underscore PDF dot. I actually need to make an error, made an error right here. This needs to be dot PDF, right? Dot PDF. That's basically it, because it's gonna be a PDF file. Okay, good. So once we have that in there, I'm going to go ahead now and also add in one more thing. You can also go ahead and pass in a bunch of options if you want to, and this is not absolutely compulsory. If you want to, you can add it. If you don't want to, then that's fine. So it's return, and I'm going to say return PDF underscore file name. This is important. What I was mentioning is this option part right here. We can pass in another argument which is called options, and options controls a bunch of things. Okay, and I'll show you what this options is just in a bit. So this my options a bunch of options, and you have to write a bunch of code, and I don't want you watching me type out all that code. It's gonna take a lot of time. So I have all the code on my GitHub, and the link is gonna be in the description of the video. So I'm just gonna go ahead and grab that code, which is this right. Let me see if I can get it right here. Utils, and then this one right here. Okay, again, all this code is on my GitHub page, so you can go ahead and get all that if you want to. So copy that and then paste it right here. Okay, so let's fix that indentation error. Also options, and you can go ahead and in down here and say options is going to be equals to the options that we have above there. Good. So that's basically all we need, and yeah, we are good to go. So this function basically can convert any HTML document into a PDF document. So basically, yeah, you can just go ahead and say, let me just add in here, just say, I add an H2 tag and say, hello world. This is code with prints. Okay, so that's basically it. So once I have this in here, now if I call this function right here, it's going to convert any document that I have, basically convert anything that is inside of this HTML file into a PDF document, and it's going to save that PDF document inside of this directory path right here with a specific name or any other name that you provide. Okay, good. So once we have that, I'm going to go back in here. Let me close this side. So I'm going to say let me just go back, open my side panel again. So let me go back into init, okay, which is utils init. So I'm going to say from .html I'm going to go ahead and import convert this, okay, and this is this is not correct here. This is just to avoid any like linting errors or highlighting, because sometimes you might get this being linted as an error by some editor. So just put this right here, no car, and it's going to prevent that from happening. Okay, so once we have that, I'm going to go now inside of my basically basic and basics, and then I have underscore init file right there. So I'm going to say from utils, I'm going to go ahead and import a couple of things. So I'm going to import the function that we just exported. So I'm going to import, I called it convert this right there. So that's basically it. So I'm going to copy this function. I'm going to go in here. It is the underscore main. I'm going to say dot from dot. I'm going to go ahead and import the following. So I'm going to import this function right here. Good. So now if I go back in here, you can see this function is an asynchronous function. And if you work with Python, you can know that we don't call asynchronous functions just like they will call regular functions in Python. For example, you can say like this, and then this. This wouldn't work with asynchronous function. So we need to import something. So say import async IO in order to run asynchronous function. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. I'm going to say asynchronous IO dot run, and I'm going to go ahead and run this, call this function within this run method. So that's going to handle the asynchronous part for us. Okay, so once I have this, I'm going to go back into my terminal, and once I'm in, I'm going to say poetry run python 3. Okay, I'm get the spelling of python right. So python 3 hyphen m, and we say basic.py basics. Okay, so once I run this file, you can see we get an error. I said no module called utils. So let's go ahead and see that. So utils it should be here. Okay, here. Okay, from .utils, and there. Okay, so that's it. So let me try this one more time, and hopefully this works. Okay, now you still okay, and okay, I think I have an error right here. I know where the error is. So it ends with, yeah, this is what I'm looking for. So yeah, there's the cause right there. So clear the terminal, and let's run this one more time. So once right now you can see it outputted the PDF document, and now you can say no such file or directory generated basics generated PDF file. Okay, good. And the reason why is because this folder is called generated PDF files and not generated PDF file. So I'm going to add it here, files. Okay. And once we have that, I'm gonna clear the terminal and let's run this code one more time. Okay, so once I run that, now we should get back now the file right here. So we should get back the file, which it should be here. So you can see the file generated right here. So let me go ahead and open this file and show it to you. Okay, so now let me just open up this file and then show it to you. So this is the file right here. And if I open it up, you should just see a simple hello world PDF document. You can see hello world. This is called with prints. And this is exactly what we have inside of, if I go to base.html, this is exactly what we have in here. So it has converted this HTML document into a PDF document. So good. So that's basically how you can convert a HTML document into a PDF document. And in this case, I want to get back the file that is being generated right here. So I want back that file. So like I'm going to store it in a variable called, I can say AI underscore generated underscore report underscore, let's say, I can go ahead and say file underscore name, just like that, equals to this. And I can go ahead and just simply print out the generated AI generated file name. There's it. So I'm going to print it out, and I'm going to go back in here, and I'm going to now comment out this print statement because comment out this print statement because that print statement is what is outputting this. So I'm just commenting it out. So once I have that, let's run the code one more time. So this time you should get down only the file, the name of the file. Okay, this is this file right here. And if I go ahead and open this file, and it is just this basic hello world, this is a code with prints. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so once I have that done, we are good to go. So that's basically how you can generate a PDF file. Now I want to go back inside of here, and inside of this PDF document, I want to customize it a bit to look a bit different. Okay, so I just want to add a bit of stylings in here and all that. So I'm going to go into under here. Okay, so under here I can go ahead and add in the style stack. So I don't want to write a simple and sorry, a separate CSV file for this. So I can just go, I can say header, and this is going to be equals to following. So I'm going to go ahead and add in this right here. So let me say I can go background color, and the background color I'm going to use asterisk AAA, and then finally I can just go 0606. Again, let me just actually I can even get this code from my GitHub page so that we don't waste a lot of time going over this, because this is just simple HTML and this tutorial is not about HTML. So I'm going to assume that you're comfortable working with this styling. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and copy all this, and go back in here and then change everything here and paste it. Okay, what I just copied, and then save that. Okay, good. So now you can see you're having this thing right here. Now I'm going to replace this. This is going to be a variable that you can pass in from our Python code, and this variable is going to replace this content right here. So for example, let's go back in here, and I can go ahead and say the following. So I can go ahead and say add in another parameter right here, and this parameter, let's call it HTML underscore string, and it's going to be of str, type of str. Okay, so instead of now, then I can go back in here where we are doing the rendering. And we are doing the rendering, what I'm going to do instead, I'm going to go ahead and say AI, which is this basically this variable right here. I'm going to go ahead and copy it, go back in here, paste it in here. So I'm going to say AI generated content, and it's going to be equals to the HTML underscore string there. So that's basically it. Okay, so that's basically what I want to do in order to generate the content. Again, you can print out this if you want, but I'm not going to do that. Okay, so so this is basically what you have done. So now that you're calling this function, this parameter is not optional. We have to pass in this parameter. So I can go in here and just pass in the parameter that I want. So I can just go ahead and say hello world. This is code with prints, just like that. So good. So once I have that, we are good to go. So that's basically what I need to do for that function, for that to work. So I'm just passing hello world, and that whatever I've passed in here is going to be here in here, and it's going to go ahead and replace the content in here. Okay, so that's how you can pass in variables from Python into your HTML templates and then render them. And you don't have to worry about how all this works. That's the purpose of Jinja2, and the render method is gonna do all that for you. You don't have to worry about it. So that's basically how it works. Okay, once that's done, I'm going to go ahead and run the code one more time. And once we get the file name, I can go ahead and show open the PDF file, which is this one right here, and I can open it up. And once I open it up, you can see now the formatting is going to change a bit, and you're going to have the world hello world. This is called with prints, and you can see this is just something that I added to it. This is part of the styling. Okay, and all this is up here, this part right here. So you can modify this if you want to, make it custom as much as possible. Modify the styles, right? You can change the colors here. Just play around with it and do whatever you want to do. Okay, it's just simple HTML. So now we have been able to convert the generated HTML template, and you have been able to convert the HTML to a PDF file. So good. So those are three things that you have ticked, so three boxes that you have ticked so far. So now we're going to go ahead and set up the Mistral. So Mistral is just the AI or the LLM application, the LLM part of the whole system or the whole application. So an LLM, if you are new, I have been making a lot of videos on LLMs, large language models, LLMs, okay, large language models. So if you haven't checked out the older videos, you can check them out. The links, you can check out the main channel. I have a ton of videos. Since LLM came out, I have only been making videos about LLMs. So I have a ton of stuff on the channel, so you can always check it out. And in this case, we're going to use a mixture of experts. So mixture of experts or MOE. Basically, what this simply means is that instead of having one particular agent, let's say that you have a team, right? Instead of having, let's say you have a department. Instead of department, there is only one person, and that person can do everything, every subtask of that department. That person is not gonna be very efficient in doing all the tasks properly, right? And a better way to solve it is that having a department, and then instead of that department, you have individual people that can do individual things. Like for example, let me just use the example of web development. We have front end developer and a back end developer, right? Whereby a back end developer only focuses on the back end stuff like the APIs, the containers, and all that. And then the front end developer only focuses on the front end side, what people see on the browser, things like Next.js, React, and all that, right? That's a front end developer. So a back end developer focuses on only back end and knows back end really well. And then a front end developer focuses only on front end and is really good at front end, right? So that's basically what measure of experts is. We have multiple experts, and once you pass in a query into your the LLM says, okay, this query requires me to do X and Y. Which among of my experts can do X and Y, and then allocate the task to that expert that is specialized in doing that X and Y task. So that's basically what mixture of experts is. So to set up Mistral, the first thing you need to go, you can go ahead to just search Mistral online, and you should get to a page like this, right? So something on the welcome page, something similar to this, right? So I'm going to just click on the platforms documents, click on the platform, click on client code, and you bring it to this part right here. And for again, you need to install something, right? And we already have these things already installed. Now we ran a command to install Mistral AI, right? Poetry add Mistral AI. So that added Mistral AI for us already. And you can also, if you want to read more about how to do that yourself, you can check out the GitHub, and they have it right here, Poetry pip install. But yeah, and then Poetry install, and then finally you can go ahead and add all that to it, right? So they say pip Poetry add and then Mistral AI. You can read all the documentation if you want to. Okay, so that's out of the way. So we already have that already installed. So this is the code that we are going to use right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy this code right here, and you're going to modify this code just in a bit. So copy that code, and let me just go back in here instead of my utils. And instead of my utils, I'm going to have another file in here. So I'm going to go ahead and create another file. I'm going to call it AI underscore response .py, and this is going to have a function that's going to be able to generate for us this AI responses. So I'm going to paste it in here, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and import a couple of things more. So I'm going to go ahead and import a couple more things. So let's see what I need to import. So I need to import OS. So I'm going to go ahead and import OS. I also want to say, I'm going to say from decouple, from decouple. Remember we installed Python decouple. I'm going to import config right here. And it's going to help us to read out environment variables from a .env file that I'm going to create this in a second. So I'm going to say config and just simply pass in this closing and open parentheses, and then enclose this value right inside of this closing and open parentheses that are within a string. So copy that, and I'm going to go down here and create an env file. So I'm going to say .env, and I'm going to go ahead and simply say paste this code right and say equals to, And now you need to get an a Mistral AI, Mistral API key. And I already have a Mistral API key, so I'm going to go ahead and add in my, so it's something like some gibberish stuff right here. It goes in here, and you add it in here. And how can you get your Mistral API key? So you go to the Mistral offshore documentation, go to your dashboard, and from there you get your Mistral API key. Okay, so I can show you my API keys for now. So just go to API keys and just say create a new API key, and then create a new API key, and then copy it and paste it inside of the env. So just replace this green color text with whatever API key that you have generated. So just give me a second. Let me go ahead and grab my API key and add it in here. Just a second. Okay, so I have went ahead and added my API in key inside of my env file, so I can show you what the content of this env file is at the moment. But you already understand what is needed in there, right? So once I have this now let's convert all this into a function that can be called. So I'm going to have a function right here. I'm going to call it AI underscore generate AI. So AI underscore generated underscore report, just like that. Okay. So I'm going to have this AI generated report, and I'm going to have in a user underscore, basically, sorry, let me just say user underscore message, and this is going to be of type, again, a string. So that's all I need. And this function at the end of the time is going to return to us a string, so I can provide in the type int right here. Okay, that's all I need. And now let me indent all this other code inside of it. So indent all this. So we get in our API key. We load in the model that you want to use. Now, this by default you have the Mistral large latest, which is basically Mistral's competition for OpenAI or GPT-4, right? So now I don't want to use this model. I want to use the other model that I showed you earlier on. So go to pricing and ratings. You're going to use this right here, Mistral. So Mistral, mixture of experts, right? Mistral, mix of agents. So you can think of it like that. So once I copy that, I'm going to replace this right here with what I just copied, which is this right here. Good. So once I have that copied and pasted in here, good. We just create a client, passing our API key, and then you have a bunch of messages and other stuff like that. So I want to now, instead of printing this, I'm going to go ahead and actually store it in a variable, and I'm going to call this variable. You can call it anything you want. I'm going to call this variable AI underscore generated underscore content, and it's going to be here. So I'm going to store it in a variable right here. Good. And I want to wrap all this inside of try and accept. So try and then indent all this, and then I'm going to have the accept block, accept exception as e, and I'm going to go ahead and simply print e, and then I'm going to say return an empty string in case you run into an exception. Again, what you can do here to do is just improve error handling. Maybe you can the best way to probably log this into a file or something. Okay, so once we have them, I'm going to go ahead and simply return. In case there was no error, I'm going to go ahead and return the AI generated content. That's basically it. So in case there's no error, I'm going to go ahead and return the AI generated content right here. And I can go ahead and say by default, by default the AI generated content is going to be a string. So I can go ahead in here, and then I can say by default this is going to be a string, and it's going to be an empty string, right? Good. So by default it's a string, and it's going to be an empty string. But if everything goes well, we're going to go ahead and return you're going to assign the AI generated content, and then finally return the response. Yep. So that's all we need to do. So let me see, why is this, it'll say expected. Oh yeah, I forgot that. Good. Yes, that's all we need. So once we have this function generated, now I want to go ahead and change the prompting right here. So I'm going to go ahead and copy the prompt from my GitHub repository, and again I'm going to have all this available to you because it's going to be a lot of things. I don't want you guys to watch me type all that. Also, again, the link to this repository is going to be in the description of the video. So good. So I'm going to go ahead and grab all this right here, from here until here. Grab all that and then go back in here, and then replace this with whatever I just copied. So paste that in there, and again all this code is available on the GitHub repository. Good. So we are passing our system prompt right here. This is basically the system prompt, and system prompt is you are an intelligent AI assistant. Your work is to write reports on a variety of topics. Write a detailed report as per user question. your response should be formatted in HTML document following the following rules listed below. So you can see use H2 for headings and H4 for subheadings, UI and OL for order list and an order list. You can specify a bunch of rules that you want, okay, and then follow all the HTML rules. So you can specify a bunch of rules that you want, and then you pass in the rules set, the system rules, system message as this message, right? It's going to be a system message. Then you're going to go down here and pass in the user message. I'm a human, answer my question, blah, blah, in a very detailed and helpful and friendly manner. And then finally pass in the user's message, which is what the user needs to go ahead and pass in whenever calling this function. So that's basically what this function basically does. So that's basically it. So now that we have that, let's try this out and let's make sure it's working. So I'm going to go, again, we need to go ahead and follow the steps. So go in here and just say, let's say from dot AI response, I'm going to go ahead and import AI generated report, and then I'm going to say no car right here. Okay, so once I have that, I'm going to go in here again. So basic, and I'm going to go ahead and import I'm going to go AI generated report. And once I have that, I'm going to go ahead and copy this again, going to underscore main file, and then add that import here as well. And once I have that done, we can go ahead and actually generate the response. So I can go ahead and generate the response, and this time is going to be the response. We can store it in a variable, and I'm going to call it AI generated HTML string because it's going to return to us a HTML string. So I'm going to call it AI underscore generated, not report, but now it's HTML underscore string. And this is going to be equals to the AI generated report, and then probably passing the user input. Let's just pass in any random input for now. Write me on climate change. Okay, just like that. For write me on climate change, and I'm going to go ahead and print AI generated HTML string. Okay. Okay, good. So that's all I want to do. And now instead of passing in this hello world thing that you are passing currently, now I want to go ahead and get this and then pass it in. So I'm going to go ahead and replace this right here. So now the HTML is going to be passed into this it's going to be passed in here into into this div tag right here, and it's going to get rendered and converted into the final PDF document. So that's what basically this does. So once we have that, let me comment out this. So we don't want to see, I don't want to see the generated HTML document. So good. So once I have this now, then I can go ahead and run the code again. So play the terminal and then run the code one more time. Again, this time now we should have now the AI generated responses inside of our file, our PDF file. So that's exciting. So let's see what we get back. And the one more thing I also realized is that I have added this env file, and so we need to add a git ignore file and to avoid pushing this into any version control by mistake. So I'm going to have a git ignore right here. So once I have this git ignore done, I'm going to go in here and just pass for git ignore. So git ignore .io, and then once you have that website loaded, what you can simply type in is just the language that you are using. In this case, you're using Python. So I'm going to go in here and type in Python into the text field. So my computer is kind of hacking sometimes, so because I'm recording this video, so bear with me. So once I have this generated, I'm going to go ahead and copy this, select all that, copy it, and I'm going to go ahead and back into our VS Code and paste it inside of my git ignore, and I'm going to simply add in a file, add in .env just to ignore that env file. Okay, good. So in case we push this into GitHub or GitHub, we don't push in the actual code. So you can see now you have the HTML generated content, and let's see now what it's in the PDF document. So I'm going to go ahead and now open the PDF document, which is this document right here. If I open it up, now you can see what content is inside of this PDF document. So you can say report on climate change, and it's absolutely well formatted, and this is all being generated by an AI. So imagine this was a school assignment. I'm not saying you should do that in your school assignment, but you can see right off that this has uses, right, in real world cases even. Yeah, so you can do actually very complicated stuff with this. You can create agents, and agent can pull financial details of different customers, generate a PDF document, and automatically mail it to these customers. You can do a variety of things with this. So this is just like a stepping stone, right? So once we have that done, we are good to go. So now I want to just change this a bit. I can now comment out this because I don't want to see the generated HTML string, which is what you're getting right here, right? This is a HTML string. So what I want to do instead, I want to go ahead and I'm going to get the user underscore input, and the user input is going to be coming from the terminal. So I'm going to have like a CI application. What would you like to generate a PDF report about. Okay, and then finally the user can type in whatever they want to generate a PDF report about. And once we have the input, you can just go ahead and say print. We can say generating report dot 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 generate. Okay, this report. You can say please. Let me use up here. Please wait, and then dot dot dot, just like that. Okay, so once I have this, I'm gonna go ahead and have another, and I'm going to import time. I just want it to wait a bit before it shows that the AI is thinking. Just to give it a kind of realistic uh perception. So import time. So once I have this time imported, I'm going to say time dot sleep, and I'm going to sleep for sleep, not slept. I don't know how spelling is that. So sleep, and then pass in. I'm going to sleep for 3 seconds. And I'm going to go ahead and say print. Now the AI is thinking. So AI thinking, thinking, and then finally say please wait. Okay, so once we have that there, we are good to go. Okay, so now that we get now the response, now I'm going to go ahead and pass in whatever the user input was into user missing on because to user the user input. So that's basically it. And once we get the PDF generated, we pass it right here. We get the generated AI content, we pass it in right here, and which is going to go ahead and generate for us the convert that generated document into a PDF document. After that, you can go ahead and simply say print done. You can find your report PDF file at, and then finally I want to use an F string right here. So I'm going to make sure it's an F string, and it's going to return to us generated file name, which you're going to pass in right here. Good. So that's all we need to do. So that's all we need to do for now to get this working. Okay. Okay, so let's run this one more time to make sure it's working like this. And let's, I don't want to have any print statements apart from the indicators. Okay, so if I run this now, we should see everything working perfect. So what would you want to write a PDF? Okay, so let's say write me 5 courses on climate change and 5 ways to combat or to reduce it. Yeah, to reduce climate change, just like that. You can see now generating AI report 1, 2, 3. Now AI starts thinking because we just kept 3 seconds of thinking. Pause for now and then goes and say AI is thinking. And now this now should now begin to make the request to generate for us the final document. So let's give it a bit of time and let's see what we get back as the response. Okay, so let's see. Again, you can use different models. You can use the OpenAI GPT-4 model. You can use the latest Mistral if you want to. Okay, so you can see done. You can find your report PDF file at this location. Again, you can generate random PDF names so that you don't avoid overriding files, because in this case you write overriding files. So you can generate random PDF names using something like secrets in Python. Yeah, you can see right here. We have a 2-page document documenting cause of climate change and then ways to reduce climate change, and all well written and well detailed, right? And well formatted, right? And it's all done by AI. So imagine this was your school assignment. I don't know why I keep pitching that idea, but you could see the perceptions, right? So yeah, I don't want you guys to use this for your school assignments anyway. But yeah, that's basically it. So that's how you can simply convert this. So that's it. And just to make your code cleaner, you can go ahead and let me just show you a simple trick that I use. I just go ahead, copy this, and I can go into a ChatGPT and say, generate me a Python doc string based on, and then I go ahead and pass in the function name and the definitions of the return type of that function, basically. And it's going to generate for me a Python doc string that I usually use to document my code so that people know what's really going on. So you can see in the synchronous function, that's true. The function takes a HTML string, blah, blah. You can see it just generates for you an uh, really awesome doc string that you can use. Again, I have the GPT-4. I don't know if the GPT-3 also performs really well, but you can try it out. And it's just awesome, the output that you get back. So, okay, so once I have that doc string, I can just copy the doc string. Again, this is not a must. This is just something that I do just to keep my code documented, kind of being lazy as well. So copy that doc string. Once I have it copied, I'm going to go back in here and then have it pasted right here. Okay, good. So that's now my doc string right here. So that's my doc string there, and you can do this for all the other functions if you want to. There's the doc string, and you can read through, modify it, do anything that you want to. Okay, so good. So that's basically how it is, and you can also go ahead and do the same thing right here. You can go ahead and change the doc string as well and add it here as well. And about this right here, you can have multiple section and you can have multiple agents doing the multiple section. Again, if you want me to make a more detailed way of this, how to do this with multiple agents doing different tasks, you can let me know in the comment section below. I'll do my best to get back to you. So you can see we have everything right here. Yeah, so that's basically it, how all this works. Okay, so again, we can now try it out one more time just to make sure everything is running. And let me see. So let's see, listen, let me just try to, uh, what should I really ask it? So generate me a report on the future of AI and education. So run that. So you click 1, 2, 3, and then say AI is thinking, right? So, and then you can go ahead and just to give it a bit of time. You should go ahead and prompt the Mistral mixture of expert models, get back the response, and then uh, convert all that into a PDF document for us. So let's just give it a bit of time. Good. So once we have that file generated, so I'm going to go ahead and open this up. So open it up and let's see what we get back. So again, you can generate your own custom random file names to avoid overriding existing files. So you can see right here, you can see it's all the names. So you can see right here, the future of artificial intelligence in education, and you can see it tries for you all this right here. So good. So that's basically how you can have this AI generate for you PDF documents. Again, if you want more detailed approaches of how you can do this, you can let me know in the comment section below. I'll do my best to get back to you guys. So thank you guys for watching this, and I hope you found this helpful and you have learned something from it. If that's the case, then make sure that you like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and also share this with anyone who might find it helpful. Just for my conclusion, this is clearly for educational purpose. Again, I repeat this, it's not for you to do your assignment or cheat in any kind of test. And secondly, shoot your shots for with suggestions on future projects. What do you want me to work on? What videos do you want me to do? Just let me know. I'll do my best to make this content for you guys. Again, lastly, reach out if you have any discussion, you have any question to ask, or you have anything that you're interested in building. You just want to have a talk about it. Let me know in the comment section below. You can always reach out to me. Again, so if you want to connect with me, you can find me. I also write articles on Medium at Prince Crumper. You can find me on YouTube, which is this channel right here, called Prince. And you can also find me on X at Prince_Crumper. And you can also find me on LinkedIn at Prince Crumper. Yeah, so that's all for this video, and I hope you found this helpful. Again, one of the ways to support the video is liking the video, sharing the content with anyone who you think might find it helpful. And if you want to support me further, you can also buy me coffee. The link to buy me coffee is in the description of the video. Thank you so much, and see you in the next video. Keep safe.